Hey guys, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank, another round of comic chat, and we're going to right into it with the Dark Knights of Steel issue 10. I have no idea what the release dates are for this book. It's like the most inconsistent book at DC right now, or at least I haven't bothered to commit to its release schedule. But anyway, when we last left off with this book, we saw this huge war about to begin between the Kingdom of Storms, the Amazons, and the House of El, and then that was all sort of thrown aside and just kicked out the window when it revealed that the person who we thought was Lara was actually a white Martian, and then Alfred reveals that he is actually a Martian, presumably John Jones. So, yeah, everyone's weirded out. All have realized that we're down 3 monarchs, political destabilization, a bunch of dead soldiers. This ain't looking good. This ain't looking good. And everyone's looking towards the Martian, John Jones, as we know him as, for information, or Alfred, as he's known to. And Constantine's like, well, maybe we should hear him out, and no one wants to hear from Constantine because this is all Constantine's fault. Him like, I saw a vision of the Green Man and the House of El, and they're going to attack, so we best kill them now, because that, what was that? What was it? In the Song of Ice and Fire, Archmaester Marwyn says, the thing about prophecy is it'll bite your prick off. And this is pretty much what happened here. All right, Constantine saw a vision, and he told his king about it, and his king's like, well, it seems like a war is coming. Best way to stop a war from coming is to start a smaller war in the shadows, because that'll never bite us in the ass. And lo and behold, here we are. So, Lara, Her Majesty, decides, like, you know what? Too much has been going on here, so let's take a moment to collect and bury our dead, mourn, and then we'll meet here and in the kingdom, in the castle, to figure out exactly what this Martian has to tell us. So they go in. Poison Ivy comes in like, well, this seems to involve the world, which involves the forests, so I'm coming. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know why. This does not seem that. I don't know. It's kind of stupid, but I get it. But whatever. Let's see what's going on here. So John Jones gives us a rundown of his life, and yeah, a white Martian named Protex pretty much started a race war of subjugating the Green Martians because they were deemed weaker, not as smart. Well, they were deemed weaker, but they're smarter, and so that led to a fight. And yeah, chaos. John Jones' son died. It's really tragic in its own way. To find out what happened to Mars, pretty much, intolerance. And this idea of racial superiority came in, which led to the destruction of the great planet Mars. Well, not even the destruction of Mars, but of the Martians. John remembers his son dying in his arms. And I think the worst thing about that was he can't comfort his son because he can't lie to him because they're all telepathic. So, yeah, it sucks. So they ask, like, hey, how many white Martians left? He says, like, no more than 20, I wager, but Protex is definitely one of them, and that's the problem. In other words, we could probably have negotiated, or the Martians could live in peace, but Protex is someone who believes himself to be superior, all Martians to be superior, white Martians above green Martians. So, yeah, take over. And there we are. And so we think it's good. The Green Man, Lex, is talking to the Ring, like, hey, what are we going to do, man? He's like, oh, actually, no, we don't need you anymore. And, yeah, it turns out Protex has been the one communicating with the Green Man, which we kind of figured. And that's how the comic ends. So, ultimately, this was a great reveal. We had no idea what was going on here. I think, again, I did call the Martians at one point. I think I did. But it's a bit sad that the Pale Man doesn't matter anymore, because it was an interesting idea, this sort of Lex-Joker fusion with a green ring looking like the Spectre. To me, it just sort of worked. This was like the least Bruce has been involved in a story. I also like that. The least any of the characters had been involved that we'd seen for a long time. The most have been Constantine. So my question now is, though, what do we do about other things? And what I mean about other things is the story about Bruce being Jor-El's son, all right, and the fact that he is also Wayne. He technically has a better claim to the throne than Kal-El, but is that going to work? Is everyone going to be able to put aside their differences to work together? What's Bruce going to do about all the, others that he imprisoned down there? Like, in a lot of ways, the events of this world do mirror that of what happened on Mars to some extent. In other words, there's this whole sort of division of class, lack of distrust by others who only, except the difference here is that most of these others here look the same, but they have different abilities. How does Bruce reconcile that with him and the people he's imprisoned, as well as with the Robins? And now he's got Teen Titans, which clearly young Richard is going to lead. So, whatever. Overall, though, still fun. What are the Gordons in this? Did I miss the Gordons? Alright, okay. Must have missed the Gordons. Overall, though, fun, but kind of forgettable. Actually, that sort of sums up this week. A fun little counterpoint to the rest of this. Next, we have Stargirl and the Lost Children. So this issue actually was kind of dull. There was like one or two good scenes here, but overall not much, which is sad because we really came out strong last issue. So anyway, issue 5, the penultimate issue, is pretty much like everyone's fighting, all right? We're all trying to fight our way through to get the Childminder and to stop who's ever coming to buy the sidekicks. So we go in, and it sort of devolves from there. Like, everything that could go wrong does go wrong. It turns out they didn't have the numbers to go in because the egg carriers come in and like, nesting complete. Just like, you know what? You've come out. We're hunting you. Now we're going to take you. In other words, this was a terrible plan. And really it shows dissension in the ranks in its own way, because we see Cherry Bomb and the Salem girl having an argument, especially when Cherry Bomb calls her a hag, but also Salem was like, I was trained by Dr. Fate. Who are the rest of you? All right, no one even knows your heroes. I'm like, it's not untrue. But, yeah, it leads to a fight. Apparently you don't call Salem Girl a hag. I get it. She must have really hated the Wizard of Oz. So they start the fight. Stargirl like, guys, what are you doing? This is stupid. We all need to be working together. She also blames herself for this because she thought she and Emiko could, fix all of this. But, really, they're nothings. Like, as much as I love Stargirl's character and her role in the JSA, she's one part of a much bigger, more effective team. All right, so we're gonna take two heroes. Neither one of us have a book, or have had a book, or saved the day by ourselves officially. We thought we could launch a huge rescue mission. Yeah, didn't think to call any of the JSA for this, did we? Nope. Like, oh my god, if Jay Garrick was here and found out that he had a daughter, oh, he would be livid. He'd have torn this whole... anyway. So, but Ladybug comes and like, look, Stargirl. I hid, alright? As soon as the fight started, I shrank and hid, but you came here knowing the possible risk, wanting to help, alright? So, we'll follow you wherever you go. And screw Corky, which is all I've learned from this entire event here. There's a lot of race of sidekicks, and I hate Corky. Anyway, so Our Man comes in. Our Man is still talking to the Childminder, and the Childminder sort of gets upstaged by this reveal. So Childminder's doing this to sell kids, so I don't quite... So she's kind of nothing. Like, again, she has the power to, like, take kids, that's great and all, but she's not the one we have to stop. We have to stop the Our Man. So, apparently, it's like something's wrong with him. They have to be reprogrammed and whatnot. It also seems like they're trying to protect the sidekicks, like, I guess, the fate of sidekicks, Look, you either die, or you be Jason Todd, but technically Jason Todd was that. Look, how many successful sidekicks are there? Ideally, you're either Dick Grayson, or you're the Winter Soldier, alright? And you gotta be lucky to be the Winter Soldier, alright? First of all, you have to not die. So it's like, either Dick Grayson... Actually, there's other... You can use all the Robins for it, though. Think about it, okay? So, actually, we'll save that till the end. We'll save it to the end. So, anyway. Apparently, something very important is about Judy Garrick is the one they really want. I'm like, you leave that cinnamon bun alone, Our Man. Anyway. So, Judy's, like, kind of exhausted because, she's been powering the cosmic treadmill. And Emiko says, like, okay, there's a trick, all right? That, the other Flashes taught your dad how to do it. It's to vibrate through stuff. Or she's like, well, if my dad can do it, I can do it. Because we're awesome like that. I'm like, yeah. And so she does it, bit rusty at it. She kind of calls explosions. But now she's like, I've always wanted to be just like my dad, and now I'm going to do it. So she breaks all these other sidekicks out of the cells. And one of which is Secret from Young Justice. I'm like, whoa, we're just taking everybody. And we even take Dynamite, and everything looks good. But then the child minder comes with our man, like, oh crap, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And like, let's fight. And then on the other side is Stargirl on the other, and like, yeah, let's go, let's go. But then it turns out Emiko is also part of this. She's also like one of the kidnapped sidekicks. And yeah, it's go. That's how the comic ends. Ultimately, this issue is kind of all right. Again, the scene with Judy learning to vibrate through or phase through stuff was really cool, especially seeing her connection to her dad, which has been a really cool scene that we've seen in this series. The fact she really wants to be just like her dad. The fact that her psychic name is Boom, so Flash and Boom, I like that. And the back and forth between Cherry Bomb and Salem Girl, I think is great because really we've gotten like little snippets of these character traits of these characters, and now seeing how they go that Salem Girl does think a bit highly of herself, like, you know, I'm the best one here because out of all of you here, I'm the only one whose hero has kept a book. All right, it's not always consistent. Books is everybody else here. My only competition here is what? Mr. Terrific. How the Terrifics go. There we go. But anyway, so yeah, you can use the Robins to sum up how your sidekick goes through. So ideally, you want to be Dick Grayson. All right, I get it. It's kind of obvious. In other words, you were a sidekick, you moved on, and you became your own hero. And in some ways, you're more popular than the other one. You can go the Jason Todd route, where no one quite knew what to do with you. You weren't that popular. You suffered from replacement syndrome, and the fan base killed you off, but brought you back, and you were sort of reinvented. Really, your horrible experiences was sort of what made you a more popular character, but are you really a better character? Up in the air. Then you go the Tim Drake route, where you were it. You were the promised child. You got it. You had a great rapport. You were going in. And then you sort of fade into obscurity because, well, no one knows what to do with you. All right? Really, Tim Drake should have been here. This could have fixed everything. Put Tim Drake in the Lost Children arc, and everything would have been fine. But we didn't go that route. Then you can be Damian Wayne, the sort of new kid on the block. You know, new era of sidekick. You get to die, you get to come back, but everyone wants you to just sort of do whatever you want. So, yeah. Maybe this is a bad analogy. I don't know. But anyway, that's sort of it. Again, this issue is kind of forgettable. It's sort of like, hey, I said 6 issues, and they only gave me so many pages per issue, so we'll just put this one out there. It's not bad, but it's just like, everything else has been so good here. There's some great scenes. I do love, where was it? I do love these pages right here. I do love it. More comic books have to do this with this art. Oh, great. But anyway, that's kind of it. So anyway, with that in mind, brings us to a close here. If you are new to the Bucket Think Tank, like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out some of my videos, and I'll catch you all later. This is Bucket Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching. As always, may your fandom serve you well.